During the top fine, the mind can't hardly stand it with the velvet left blue. The percent of night is satin, found satisfaction of or satisfying. Decide maybe it's what made the fight leave the right. And all that I gave to my trust and true love and never left behind the heart and soul, the watcher with the witness in the Jehovah. Look at your J's and justify lines synonymous in your heart, carrying on has been loved to left without the breath and trying to find the tree, the top of the forest, the living and light eliminated, illuminating and finding something of a symbiosis and synthetics and synthesis without a theory. Left to find heartbreaking and smashing hearts and camps. Upon the energy and left behind the payback and encounter with paybacks, breakthrough breaks, backs, and the break rocks, the break beats and breaking breaks for accomplishing the work with no breaks from food for thought. Lunch that back to the mind, conscious that big backsliding, into the home without place where the tables are turned down, leaving it hard to stake my heart to choose the silence, the like, and the communication, the community, communion, the easy, the Sundays where the light sometimes when you grow no shady in language. Virtue to be compressed and used to be violated, and violence to victory and democracy. Democratic demons and demanded energy, the spiritual grounded for prevention of descending and uplifting, the surrendering of easing, burdening, paid pasture, side of the green beliefs. You have to be persuaded and preserved. Acknowledgement was good of intentions, but not meant to say obliviously. The unification of the oblivious signifies maybe the coming of Christ, and you can't stand it. Or maybe tomorrow's problem solvers, lovers, retreats, a life that can be left without a trace, and simply disregard tastes without the taste to satisfy. You can testify. They could be left in the accomplished and abused within the allegations. No standards for tricking, taking the trauma without manuals, makes shift for free. Frequencies and often making the left frequent delinquent, deprived or alive or maybe misled. Maybe it's missed or miss you in a verse or universe to do adversity to constitute the consistent shit. Covers conversation to convert downward vertical verbs and maybe the word to verbiage or the compressions, lessons, deflect. Maybe it's part of your statement or theories. You can find a profit or get them back genetically, or the game is manipulating enough to find the tolerance. Or maybe what the fuck mentors can't be consensual or punctual. Using your vowels like I owe you letters forever forehead. Comments to compliment the commentaries. Whether or not it's erasing behavior beforehand, handouts at a hand of tune, he, her, afterwards coward, encountering engagements and thoughts, unintentions, intention with the lovers engagement, endangered dangerous oppressions. Maybe ironic and pressing, conscious and confessing the undergoing underground and lessons and sundowns. That sundress too easy stress, but some blessing upon them thighs, yo. Make my direction, nature, move towards higher grounds, elevate. To get in there, open it up. That's your heart. The joy in the work that comes from the theory, the thesis, the heartbreaking, the smashing the hearts to clean up the breaking of energy. You are what is left behind, the back pain, the counter, the playbacks. Breaking through backs that breaks. For the accomplishing the working, there are no breaks. For food, for thought, for lunches, so the back mind closes the conscience, but backsliding into the home plate where the table's turned. Sometimes you end up shady. For the body language to the virtue, to be compressed and used, to be hurt, to violate violence, to victories, to democracy and democratic demons, and demand the energy, the most spiritual grounded for the prevention of ascending and uplifting and surrendering and ease the burdens and pay with the pastures because of the conditioning of the anchorage. Ranting, ignoring, the sleepy snoring of boring, reserved, persecution, the persuaded to be swayed and converted to convinced, the persuasive, the melancholy blue seed to blind, to light of the acts of acknowledgement with good intentions but not meant to be say obliviously. Unification of oblivious and sense significations of abbreviate shortcomings of Christ consciousness and alleviation and elevate, or elevate the evolving of revolvers to revolution, to problems that cause effects, the tomorrows and problem solvers, and losing the tree of life. It can be left alone, left without a trace in the trash, and trace regards a tasteless without a taste of the testifying. Or the tether turns, it takes out the taken only to be considered rendered, consistent enough with the contenders, judgment, enchantment, use of the mantras, the chanted monsters out of us, a manner than human, the kind of God, the hand, the son, the prodigy, and the process of only a prophecy. See prophet, Mac. See the back for details on that you can choose the dyslexia and the dog owner, or the unaccompanied. According to the accumulated accomplishments, success, so the penetration of acupuncture, a custom accusation, accusing, actual abuse, allegations, sneaky as an alligator. You can find the night, illuminating the illiteracy, among the legal illicit, to complacent, living stand for standards and taking the trauma. Make it with the manuals to be makeshift and free for the frequencies and often making haste. Delinquent, deprived, alive, or misled or mis-universe. In universe, to adversity can constitute the consistent shit of behavior. They're no longer the spirit relying solely lazy lovers to darkness. Your age and your page you read. Hoard horoscope to the sky when it's in whitening. The wit has only been dressed for that to be spit freely styled as a freak. Misled house arrest and sickle the twinkling at the cause and infecting disregarded love and affection. Standing by officials and officers and offer their offensive fence though other go. Confirm yourself. Through the movements of the gas deflated defense and band-aids and first aid kits and kittens to castrate. Catastrophic trophy to tropical delights and dislikes that display the kindness and every kind of way to pay attention to. Prices that you only the vengeance of bending of ages and colors and vengeance and race. You can't erase the hate because radically enough it can be raised and find invested eyes and to get booked behind the waste of the resources to make them time outcomes. Cage for the closets inside of the advocating indifferences and abnormal marginalization. The martyrs and daughters and the queens. Unaware the destinies and goddesses with the double D's and get chasing with the chasers infinity infatuated without knowing themselves. Story, demise, demand, demons and moonies that manslaughter man enough to find the mansions and management of mandates. Many get the vanguard and vango, no ears are cut off, they hear the wave. Around freeways, contested margin states and highways, alleviating lifespan. Single dimensions, nonsense, non-spiritual, carefree, and rival with the conclusion of scales, scandals, and ass kickers. Scandals of sinkholes. They're centralized in the central centers of incentives and increased incentuates. Everything rearranged to aesthetic people of the color to color operate. The journey are not to be together for the changing of the weather, whether or not anybody cares anymore horned for the developing of you debating gratitude. Your general purpose ain't only find your manipulating ways into the placing intolerance and told for the toes that took the place of bold and poles and faceless. Sleeping in slumber or slums. Thought to be belief. Defaults and epicenter for the accountability. Then cable wires trained to be obsolete to modern transportation to train. Judgment. Third eye throne. Mental instruments. Insurgents arrogant mothers and claiming they're more than ignorant. Or ignoring the questions coached to a corner like you were the timeout. Or 10 campaigns with their intentions mentioned as mentors meant for. Mental innocent illuminated to witness and wit. Conforming to which white noise you'd be sleeping and believing in since birth. Sensitive to consensual refusing. Compromise or reciprocity of compassion. Exchange for consequences constantly oblivious to the conniving consciousness and concluding your raptors and top. Tote repeatedly punctured the words to punctuate the mouth. Your letters are forever for the forehead, forgiveness and love to be forget. Four signatures and define the acts. You and your comments. Aphrodisiacs with the dashikas and thugs and dickies and zipper down to get that. Disregarding detriment to the wife and temporal side.
For the theory, the thesis is a heartbreaking, especially in the heart. The joy in the work. The joy in the work. That cuts for the theory, the thesis is a heartbreaking, especially in the hearts to clean up the breaking of energy. You are what is left behind, the back pay and the counter and playbacks. The joy in the work. That cuts for the theory, the thesis is a heartbreaking, especially in the hearts to clean up the breaking of energy. You are what is left behind, the back pay and the counter and playbacks. Breaking through backs that break breaks. For the accomplishing the working there are no breaks. For food, for thought, for lunches, of the back mind closes consciousness, but backsliding it.
If you grew up with white boys who only look at black and Puerto Rican porno cause they want something that their dad don't got, then you know where you're at. Motoring your ear holes shut in a rush with wet coke in a Starbucks bathroom with the door closed on booze. I'm left in residue and confused like the first time you used soft water. Down on my luck, caught unaware like Houdini when the last bit struck. Sinking in, laughing at something sunken in. I am if I'm sinking in, laughing at something sunken in.
You are what is left behind, the back pay and the counter and playbacks. Breaking through backs that break breaks. For the accomplishing the working there are no breaks. For food, for thought, for lunches, to the back mind closes consciousness, but backsliding into the home plate where tables turn. Sometimes you end up shady. For the body language of the virtue to be compressed and used to be hurt to violate violence to victories of democracy and democratic demons and demand the energy most spiritual grounded for the prevention of ascending and uplifting and surrendering and ease the burdens and pay with the pastures because of the conditioning of the ignorance. Ranting, ignoring, the sleepy snoring of boring reserved, persecution the persuaded to be swayed and converted to convinced expressive. The melancholy blue seeds blind to light of the acts of acknowledgement with good intentions but not meant to be said obliviously. Unification of oblivious and sense significations of abbreviate shortcomings of Christ consciousness and alleviation and elevate the evolving of revolvers to revolution to problems that cause or effects the tomorrows and problem solvers and losing the trees of life. It can be left alone. During the top find the mind can't hardly stand it with the velvet left me. It was in the night of satin, found satisfaction of orders satisfying. Sight maybe is what made the fight leave the right. And all that I gave to my strength and true love and never left behind the heart and soul to watch over the witness in the Jehovah. Look at your J's and justify lines synonymous between heart carrying honestly, love to left without the breath and trying to find the tree, the top of the forwards, the liberty, light illuminated, illuminating and plotting something that was symbiosis and synthetics and synthesis without a theory. Left to find heartbreaking, smashing hearts and camps. And upon the energy and left behind the payback and encounter, but paybacks, breakthrough, breaks, backs, and the breakups, the break beats and breaking breaks for accomplishing the work and no breaks from food for thought. Lunch that back of the mind, conscious that big backsliding, into the home without place for the tables are turned now, leaving it hard to stake my heart to truth, the silence, the lacking, the communication, the community, communion, and easy the Sundays where the light sometimes you call no shady against language. Virtue to be compressed and used to be violated and violence to victory and democracy. Democratic demons and demanded energy, the spiritual grounded for prevention of descending and uplifting the surrendering of easing, burdening, passion. Passion, side of the green beliefs. You have to be persuaded and preserved. Acknowledgement was good of intentions, but not meant to say obliviously. The unification of oblivious signifies maybe the coming of Christ, and you can't stand it. Or maybe tomorrow's problem solvers, lovers, or trees alive, Beth can be left without a trace, and simply disregard tastes without the taste is satisfied. You can testify. You can be left in the accomplished and abused within the allegations. Your standards for tricking, taking the trauma without manuals, makeshift for free. Frequencies and often making the left frequent delinquent. Deprived or alive or maybe misled. Maybe it's missed or miss you in a verse or universe to do adversity to constitute the consistent shit. Covers conversation to convert downward vertical verbs and maybe the word to verbiage or the what? Compressions, lessons, deflect. Maybe it's part of your statement or theories. You can find a profit or get them back genetically, or the game is manipulating enough to find the tolerance. You know, or maybe what the fuck mentors can't be consensual or punctual. Using your vows like I owe you letters forever forehead. Comments to compliment to come in errors. Whether or not it's erasing behavior beforehand, handouts that are handed to him. He, her, afterwards, coward, encountering engagements and thoughts, unintentions, intention with their lovers engagement, endangered genders, impressions. Maybe ironic and pressing, conscious and confessing the undergoing underground lessons and sundowns. That sundress too easy to stress with some blessing up under them thighs, yo. Make my erection, nature, move towards higher grounds, elevate. You know I'm going to get in it.
If you grew up with white boys who only look at black and Puerto Rican porno, cause they want something that their dad don't got, then you know where you're at. Mortaring your ear holes shut in a rush with wet coke. In a Starbucks bathroom with the door closed on booze. I'm left in residue and confused, like the first time you used soft water. Down on my luck, caught unaware like Houdini when the last bit struck. Sinking in, laughing at something sunken in. I am, if I'm sinking in, laughing at something sunken in.
You are what is left behind, the back pain, encountering playbacks. Breaking through backs that break breaks. For the comments in the working, there are no breaks. For food, for thought, for lunches, so the back mind closes conscience, but backsliding into the home plate where tables turn. Sometimes you end up shady. For the body language of the virtue to be compressed and used to be hurt to violate violence to victories of democracy and democratic demons and demand the energy most spiritual grounded for the prevention of ascending and uplifting and surrendering and ease the burdens and pay with the pastures because of the conditioning of